They called him a beggar. People walked past him every day. Some ignored, some threw a coin without even looking. But one day, one stranger's few words changed his life forever. This is the story of a man who went from sleeping on the streets to owning his own business. All because he learned one powerful lesson that most people never understand. Every morning, under a broken bridge near the city market, a man named Ramesh sat with a tin bowl. His clothes were torn, his face tired, and his eyes carried years of disappointment. People came and went, but Ramesh stayed there, in the same corner, day after day. He wasn't always like this. Once, he had a job in a small factory. But when it shut down, he lost everything. With no family, no savings, and no luck, he ended up on the street. At first, he begged just to survive. A piece of bread, a few coins, anything. But soon, begging became his life. He forgot what hope felt like. He forgot what it meant to dream. One hot afternoon, while Ramesh sat under the bridge, a man in a clean white shirt stopped nearby. Instead of walking past, he looked directly at Ramesh. He asked softly, "Why do you beg every day?" Ramesh frowned. "Because I have no choice. No one will give me a job. I have no money, no education." The man nodded, thinking for a moment. Then he said something Ramesh would never forget. "Maybe you don't need money to start. Maybe you just need to stop waiting for someone else to change your life." He placed a small brown bag beside Ramesh and said, "Here's some fruit. Try selling these instead of begging. Let's see what happens." And then he walked away. Ramesh looked at the bag. There were a few bananas, apples, and oranges. Nothing special. He laughed bitterly. "Sell fruit? Who will buy from a beggar like me?" But that night, he couldn't sleep. Those words kept echoing in his head. Stop waiting for someone else to change your life. The next morning, Ramesh took a chance. He wiped his face, combed his messy hair with his fingers, and set up a small mat near the bus stop. He placed the fruits neatly and waited. At first, no one came. People still saw him as a beggar. Hours passed. His stomach growled. He almost gave up. Then an old lady stopped and said, "You're selling fruit now? That's good. Give me 2 bananas." She paid. It was just 10 rupees, but to Ramesh, it felt like 1,000. For the first time in years, he earned something, not by asking, but by doing. The next few days were hard. Some days he sold everything. Some days, nothing. He faced insults. "Hey beggar, stick to what you know." But Ramesh kept going. He used the small money he earned to buy more fruit. He cleaned them, arranged them carefully, smiled at customers. Slowly, people started noticing. He wasn't the dirty beggar under the bridge anymore. He was the man selling fruit near the bus stand, polite, honest, and hardworking. Still, life wasn't easy. Rain ruined his fruits. Once, someone even stole his bag. He cried that night, thinking of quitting. But then he remembered the stranger's words again. Stop waiting for someone else to change your life. And the next morning, he started again. Months passed. Ramesh saved every extra rupee he could. He bought a small wooden cart. Then he painted his name on it, Ramesh's Fresh Fruits. He moved from the bus stop to the market corner. He smiled and talked politely to everyone. Soon, regular customers began coming back. Office workers, shopkeepers, even children on their way to school. One morning, as he was arranging his fruits, a familiar voice said, "So, you stopped begging?" Ramesh turned around. It was the same man in the white shirt. Ramesh's eyes filled with tears. He folded his hands and said, "Sir, you changed my life." The man smiled and replied, "No, Ramesh, you changed your life. I only reminded you that you could." Over the next few years, Ramesh grew his small cart into a small fruit shop. Then, another. He started buying fruits directly from farmers, giving work to others who once struggled like him. He didn't wear expensive clothes or own a big house. But he had something much more powerful, dignity. People in the market began calling him Ramesh Bhaiya, the honest fruit seller. And sometimes, when he saw a beggar on the street, he'd walk up quietly, offer a bag of fruit, and say, "Try selling these." It worked for me. One evening, as he closed his shop, Ramesh sat on his wooden bench and looked at the sunset. The same sky he once watched from under a bridge now looked brighter, because his eyes had changed. He whispered to himself, "I begged for years, not because I had nothing, but because I believed I was nothing." And then he smiled, because now he knew the truth. The moment you believe you can do something, your whole life starts to change. Ramesh's story teaches us something simple but powerful. No one is too small to dream big. No one is too broken to start again. Sometimes you don't need a miracle. You just need a reason to try, and the courage to take that first small step. So, if life has pushed you down, remember Ramesh. Because if a beggar can become a businessman, then maybe, just maybe, your next small step could change everything too. He had no money, no luck, no help, only a lesson. And that lesson turned his begging bowl into a business.